So, this is the Lorax by Dr. Seuss, and I'm going to try really hard to read it and show you every picture. So, very first page, there's a little guy, oh, no, over here, a little guy peeking out a window, and a little orange dude right there, that's the Lorax. Fun stuff. So, at the far end of a town where grickle grass grows, and the wind smells slow and sour when it blows, and no birds ever sing except old crows, is the street of the lifted Lorax. This way. The lifted Lorax. So. And deep in the grickle grass, some people say, if you look deep enough, you can still see today where the Lorax once stood, just as long as it could, before somebody lifted the Lorax away. So, that side. And there's the place where he stood. What was the Lorax? And why was it there? And why was it lifted and taken somewhere? From the far end of the town where the grickle grass grows. The onceler still lives there. Ask him, he knows. There's the onceler's house. You won't see the onceler. Don't knock at his door. He stays in his lurkin, on the top of his store. He lurks in his lurkin, cold under the roof, where he makes his own clothes out of muffered moof. And on special dank midnights in August, he peeks out of the shutters, and sometimes he speaks, and tells how the Lorax was lifted away. He'll tell you, perhaps, if you're willing to pay. There's another picture of the onceler's house. You see him, oh, right there. He's peeking out. You can just barely see it. And then, that's his house. On the end of a rope, he lets down a tin pail. If you have to toss in, 15 cents and a nail, and the shell of a great grandfather snail. Oop, can't see it. There he is, tossing in the nail and the 15 cents into the tin pail. Then he pulls up the pail, and makes a most careful count to see if you've paid him the proper amount. There he is. He's counting. Then he hides what you've paid him away in his snub, his secret strange hole in his crubbleless glove. Then he grunts, I will call you by whisper my phone, for the secrets I tell are for your ears alone. There he is, and there's his strange pocket in his glove. Weird. Slurp. Down he slurps the whisper my phone to your ear. And the old onceler whispers are not very clear, since they have come down through a snurgly hose, and he sounds as if he had smallish bees up his nose. Now I'll tell you, he says, with his teeth sounding gray, how the Lorax got lifted and taken away. It all started way back, such a long, long time ago, such a long, long time back. There's his whisper my phone. Oop, there it is. It's a really long hose down there. And it sounds weird because I had to go all the way through that long hose. Way back in the days when the grass was still green, and the pond was still wet, and the clouds were still clean, and the songs of the swans rang out in space. One morning I came to this glorious place, and I first saw the trees, the truffula trees, the bright colored tufts of the truffula trees, mile after mile in the fresh morning breeze. There he is. Oh, there he is in his wagon, and there's all the truffula trees, and those are the swans. He's having a hard time with this book. Alright. And under the trees, I saw brown barbaloots frisking about in their barbaloot suits as they played in the shade and ate truffula fruits. There they are, frisking about, and there's one of them eating fruit. From the rivulous pond came the comfortable sound of the humming fish humming while splashing around. There they are. Crazy. But those trees, those truffula trees. All my life I'd been searching for trees such as these. The sound of their tufts was such small. The touch of their tufts was much softer than silk, and they had the sweet smell of fresh butterfly milk. I felt a great leaping of joy in my heart. I knew just what I'd do. I unloaded my cart. There's the trees, and there he is. Nope, this one. Unloading his cart. Though in no time at all, I'd built a small shop. Then I chopped down a truffula tree with one chop. And with great skillful skill, and with great speedy speed, I took the soft tuft, and I knitted a thneed. There it goes. Chopped it down. He made a thneed. The instant I'd finished, I heard a gazump. I looked. I saw something pop out of a stump of the tree I'd chopped down. It was sort of a man. Describe him? That's hard. I don't know if I can. He was shortish and oldish, and brownish and mossy. He spoke with a voice that was sharpish and bossy. There he is. Oh, I don't know. Mister, he said, with a sawdusty sneeze, I am the Lorax, and I speak for the trees. I speak for the trees have no tongues. And I'm asking you, sir, at the top of my lungs. He was very upset as he shouted and puffed. What's that thing you've made out of my truffula tuft? Look, Lorax, I said, there's no cause for alarm. I chopped just one tree. I'm doing no harm. I'm being quite useful. This thing is a thneed. A thneed is a fine something that all people need. It's a shirt, it's a sock, it's a glove, it's a hat. But it has other uses. Yes, far beyond that. You can use it for carpets, for pillows, for sheets, or curtains, or covers for bicycle seats. The Lorax said, "Sir, you are crazy with greed. There is no one on earth who would buy that full thneed." Thneed. Keep saying it with an S. There's the thneed. Should have read this book first before I started trying to read it. But the very next minute, I proved he was wrong. For, just at that minute, a chap came along. And he thought that the thneed that I had knitted was great. He happily bought it for $3.98. I laughed at the Lorax. You poor silly guy. You never can tell what some people will buy. I hope you can see the pictures. I can't see it because it goes over my face when I put it up to the thing. I'm great at reading. I repeat, cried the Lorax, I speak for the trees. I'm busy, I told him. Be quiet, if you please. I rushed across the room, and in no time at all, I built a radio phone, and I put in a quick call. I called on my brothers and uncles and aunts, and I said, "Listen here. Here's a wonderful chance for the whole Onceler family to get mighty rich. Get over here fast. Take the road to North Nitch. Turn left at Weehoskin. Sharp right at South Stitch." There he is calling his brothers and aunts and uncles. And in no time at all, in the factory I built, the Onceler family was working full tilt. We were all knitting thneeds, just as busy as bees, to the sound of chopping of truffula trees. Then, oh baby, oh, how my business did grow. Now chopping one tree at a time was too slow. So I quickly invented my super axe hacker, which whacked off 4 truffula trees in one smacker. We were making thneeds 4 times as fast as before, and the Lorax, he didn't show up anymore. Oh, sorry. The snacker. Super Axe Hacker, that's what it was called. But the next week he knocked on my new office door. He snapped, "I'm the Lorax who speaks for the trees, which you seem to be chopping as fast as you please. But I'm also in charge of the brown barbaloops, who played in the shade in their barbaloot suits, and happily lived eating truffula fruits. Now, thanks to your hacking my trees to the ground, there's not enough truffula fruit to go around, and my poor barbaloots are all eating the crummies, and my poor barbaloots are all getting the crummies because they have gas and no food in their tummies." They're looking crummy down here. Crummy. Yep. There you go. They love living here, but I can't let them stay. They'll have to find food, and I hope that they may. "Get up, boys," he cried, and he sent them away. I, the Onceler, felt sad as I watched them all go. But business is business, and business must grow. Regardless of crummies and tummies, you know. I meant no harm. I most truly did not. But I had to grow bigger, so bigger I got. I biggered my factory, and I biggered my roads. I biggered my wagons, and I biggered the loads. Of the needs I shipped out, I was shipping them forth, to the south, to the east, to the west, to the north. I went right on biggering and selling more needs. And I biggered my money, which everyone needs. Sneed factory. Then again he came back. I was fixing some pipes. Then that old nuisance Lorax came back with more gripes. I am the Lorax, he coughed and whiffed. He sneezed and snuffled, and he snargled and sniffed. Onceler, he cried with a cruffulous croak. Onceler, you are making such a smogulous smoke. My poor Swomy swans, why, they can't sing a note. No one can sing who has smog in their throat. Got the swans, which have a silly name. You see all the clouds and stuff? That's the smog. And so, said the Lorax, please pardon my cough. They cannot live here, so I'm sending them off. Where will they go? I don't hopefully know. They may have to fly for a month or a year to escape from the smog that you've smogged up around here. Swan's flying away. What's more, snapped the Lorax. His dander was up. Let me say a few words at this glubbity-glub. Your machinery chugs on, day and night without a stop, making glubbity-glub and also sloppity-slop. And what do you do with this leftover goo? I'll show you, you dirty old Onceler man, you. You're glumping the pond where the humming fish hummed. No more can they hum, for their gills are all glummed. I'm sending them off. Oh, their future is dreary. They'll walk on their fins, and they'll get woefully weary, in search of some water that isn't so smeary. He's dumping all the glop into the pond. There the fish go. Walk it on land, like fish do. And then I got mad. I got terribly mad. I yelled at the Lorax, now listen here, Dad. All you do is yap yap and say, bad, 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 bad. Well, I have my rights, sir, and I'm telling you, I intend to go on doing just what I do. And, for your information, you Lorax, I'm figuring on biggering, and biggering, and biggering, and biggering, turning more truffula trees into thneeds, which everyone needs. He's yelling at the Lorax. Got mad. And at that very moment, we heard a loud thwack From outside in the fields were the snickering smack of an axe on a tree. Then we heard the tree fall. The very last truffula tree of them all. The last one. You see all those stumps? No more trees, no more needs, no more work to be done. So in no time, my uncles and aunts, everyone, all waved me goodbye, then jumped into my cars and drove away under the smoke-smuggered stars. Now all that was left, 'neath the bad-smelling sky, was my big empty factory, the Lorax, and I. The Lorax said nothing. Oh, I forgot to show you the picture. We were driving away in the car. The Lorax said nothing, just gave me a glance. Just gave me a very sad, backward glance, as he lifted himself up by the seat of his pants. And I'll never forget the grim look on his face when he hoisted himself and took leave of this place, through the hole in the smog, without leaving a trace. And all that the Lorax left here in this mess was a small pile of rocks with the one word, unless. Whatever that means, well, I just couldn't guess. That was long ago, but each day since that day, I've sat here and worried away. Through the years, while my buildings have fallen apart, I've worried about it with all of my heart. The one word, unless. But now, says the Onceler, now that you're here, the word of the Lorax seems perfectly clear. Unless someone like you cares a whole awful lot, nothing is going to get better. It's not. Unless someone like you. So, catch, calls the Onceler, and he lets something fall. It's a truffula seed. It's the last one of all. You're in charge of the last truffula seeds, and the truffula trees are what everyone needs. Plant a new truffula, treat it with care. Give it clean water, and feed it fresh air. Grow a forest, protect it from axes that hack. Then the Lorax and all of his friends may come back. See. The end. Good night. Love you.